Hi, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tech Exec Podcast, where I'll help you create teams worth leading because life's too short to lead mediocre teams. As always, I'm your host, Aviv Ben-Yosef, advisor, coach to tech execs, and today our subject is your mistakes portfolio. This is something that I just thought about recently because I sort of was going through my own mistakes portfolio and thought about how much I'm gaining from it even years after I've made those mistakes, and how much I think you, dear listener, should consider doing the same. So what's a mistakes portfolio? Frankly, this started as something that I did not do or start doing with a lot of planning. If you've been following along, you know that I journal quite a lot. I journal at least once a day, something short. I try to journal more. I've got a bunch of notebooks all over the place. I've got an app, Day One, which I really recommend if you like doing this digitally. And something nice about Day One is that it consistently brings up things that happened in this date years ago. Right now, I've got things going back like over a decade. And that means that every day I've got something that I did. And usually a handful of different things that happened in this day in the past, and I can go over that. And doing that, this review, which I do every morning, it takes me like 2 minutes, it really helps me sometimes see things that I can immediately say. I just read the entry, I'm like, oh my God, that was a mistake. And sometimes this is me reading an entry that portrays a mistake. Even back then when I wrote about it, I knew that it was a mistake. And sometimes it's not like that. I read something that I was excited about, a new experiment, I tried something, I was hopeful about something, and Aviv of the present, reading what Aviv of the past has written, I know how it really went on and that thing failed. I get so much from this review because having this portfolio of mistakes really helps me learn and helps me put a lot of things into perspective. When I read the things that a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where they all seemed so pressing, so important, so life-changing, and see, oh yeah, who even remembered that? Or that ended up being just fine, or that mistake wasn't so bad after all, that sort of stuff. When you have that, it really helps you constantly be mindful of how critical whatever you're going through today really is, put things into the right perspective, as I said, and also it makes me a tiny bit more mindful when I'm making new decisions in a way that means that I just might not repeat the same sorts of mistakes. I'll make some new ones, which is inevitable, but at least I'll learn from it some more. And this is my mistakes portfolio. I want to add a tiny disclaimer here. I actually, this is not, this 2-minute review I do in the morning is not just about seeing all my mistakes and getting bummed out about it, because I have a lot of very good things in it as well. For example, whenever I get a nice email from a reader telling me I really helped them in some way, like just happened a couple of days ago, I add those. Whenever I get a client saying that they really liked something, that I really helped them with something, I add that. So usually this is not just going over my mistakes portfolio and seeing a bunch of bad stuff, but it's me going over what happened. And naturally, what happened includes mistakes. And I think that's important. Don't just sit down and journal just the sucky parts, but try to do that even more in general, regularly, for whatever is happening, because you never know what you will appreciate in the future, and it generally only takes a couple of minutes. So what do I want you to do? I want you to start having this habit of writing down, and I get the itches when I try to tell people how easy it is to write things down, because so many people think, oh my God, writing, I need to actually write things. I do most of my journaling, even today, in the form of very basic bullet points. It doesn't need to be anything grander than that. You don't need to be writing War and Peace daily. Open an app, and if you have an iPhone now, it comes with the journal app. It just, things are so easy nowadays. Open an app, write down in bullet points just what you went through today, what mistake you made, what success you had, what's on your mind. 3 bullet points, 5 bullet points. You're done. And then have the habit of regularly going through what happened in the past. That's it. And if you do that, no, this is not a get rich quick sort of thing, okay? This is not going to make you 10 times more successful within a month. It's not that fast. I mean, I'm guessing you're not making so many mistakes in a month that you can learn so much from them in a month. But if you're looking at your career, if you're looking at what you're going to be doing over the next 10 years or so, this will just keep adding up value. This will just become much more valuable with time. And we're talking about an investment of a couple of minutes a day that you're probably just wasting scrolling through whatever social media you like. Take 2 minutes out of that. Write the bullet points. Go over what you just had entered in the past. That's it. And you're done. And you'll start accumulating this mistakes portfolio that will make you faster. I mean, this is how the whole AI thing seems to be working, right? They get the feedback learning, right? They learn from the feedback we give it to tell whether the responses are good or not, and they learn. Oh, who would have thought that works? Reviewing what you did, seeing if it works or not, is actually helpful. You can do the same. I mean, if AI is artificially trying to do just that, why can't you just do it, not artificially? Not rocket science. My kids are doing that regularly. So you need to be doing that. And by having this muscle of starting to think for 2 minutes what you're doing, what's successful, what's not, what's in your mind, what's not, that alone will make you a lot more mindful. Like, I don't know, the daily stand-up the teams have for their regular tasks, but no one really does that for leadership, so do that. And then once you have that, not only will it help you day to day because you'll be a bit more focused, but it also means that with time, you'll be gaining a lot more impact, a lot more value as a leader because you'll be learning from your mistakes for years to come. So consider doing that. That's it for this week. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you have any questions, any comments, my email's in the show notes. And also, if you want to have someone by your side to help ensure that you make less mistakes or less costly mistakes, hi, I'm here. My email's in the show notes. And of course, if you haven't yet, do check out my newsletter. It's the best newsletter online for tech execs. Goes out once a week with a bunch of very nice stuff, if I may say so myself. And you can subscribe in the show notes. I think you're getting the gist of it. That's it. See you next week. Ciao.